Thank you very much indeed, Valerie, and I'd like to welcome you on board as well and join you in paying tribute to the wonderful work done by Paddy over recent years. And certainly I can tell you, as a member of the County Development Board and Louth County Council, he kept us on our toes, and rightly so, because as we know, it's consistency and application of effort that makes any project succeed. I'm delighted to be here today to launch the programme, and I suppose it's wonderful too because the word just came through in the last 24 hours of the allocation of €200,000 to the Creative Spark project. And I suppose if anything was to illustrate the importance of what we are about, that certainly does so. And I'd like to congratulate Sarah and the team and everybody involved in the project in Mohebna and wish them all the best for the future. The Peace Tree programme has been running now since 2009, and we have worked our way through phase 1, and we are now moving on to the second phase, which began earlier last year. The overall objective, as you know, is to work with communities to combat sectarianism and racism, and to build in our society a sense of inclusiveness, which is important as we move forward. We are a more diverse society than any time in our history. And we also know, because of events over the last 30 years, we have issues that we have to address and that must be worked through, and it has to be done at ground level. Very often in any peace process anywhere in the world, people are very aware of the major strokes, the important developments, the signing of documents or whatever. But of course, as we know, building peace and building a stable society isn't just about that. It's about the hard work on the ground, the day-to-day activities, the slow, difficult process of getting people to trust and understand each other, and then working together to build a stable society. And of course, that's what's happened with Peace Tree projects that have been organised in County Louth on a cross-border basis. That we have used the great areas of arts and sport and community activity in order to get people to build relationships, to get to know each other, understand each other, and therefore help society as a whole. And I think one of the great things that I admire about the Peace Tree programme is the emphasis on young people, and the fact that it seeks to see what leaders we have in our community that are there now, but will be there more importantly in the future, because all of this is a foundation stone that must be built upon. And I know our young people through various projects have visited Belfast and seen the wall murals, also involved in creating drama pieces for people to get to know each other and understand each other a little bit better. And as well as that, being involved in sporting activity, which is a wonderful way and a very inspiring way often of bridging the gaps in society and the differences that can emerge between people. And 3 of the projects that have been worked upon won awards at the Media and Multicultural Annual Awards, and I think that speaks volumes of the commitment of the people involved and of the hard work done by those groups, because that doesn't happen, as we know, by accident. It is the result of consistent and determined effort, and I think we should acknowledge and recognise that. I know groups like Coexist, who will be talking to us later on, and some other groups will be doing so as well, have done fantastic work. And I know a group of young people, one of whom is here today, will be heading out to Bilbao in Spain, in the Basque country, and learning what is happening there, experiencing another culture and another place where problems have persisted and where hopefully they are now working their way through them, as we have done as well. I was looking at a number of the projects, and it's interesting how they impact and the impression they make upon you. I was particularly interested in the Spiral project, the whole concept of people who are involved in the conflict setting down a record of their experience. Because quite frankly, there are 2 ways you can be removed from a problem. One is geographically, and it's amazing that you can be quite close but still far away. I often speak to people where I come from in the south of the county who wouldn't have the same awareness of the conflict as people in the north of the county. So you can be removed to some extent geographically, but also generationally. And many of us here in this room, including myself, would remember some of the deep, dark times that we had. But there are many other younger people who may not do so, and it's important that a record be kept of that and that people can understand, in the hope that someday we may, as a species, actually learn from history. And the Darva GAA project also struck me as important, because the GAA is an organisation that exists in every part of rural and urban Ireland, and it's important that they reach out particularly to the new communities, the new diverse communities who are living here in County Louth, and who we want to see play a full and active part in both business, sporting activity and culture. So again, I think they are particularly important projects. So work has started on phase 2, and there are 4 strategic priorities that have been identified, and rightly identified in my view. Young people, whom I've already spoken about, the importance of involving young people, supporting the Peace 3 target groups, and that support needs to continue. Building diverse communities, and that's really a huge task for us in this country today, and dialogue and relationship building. All nice words, all warm words, all give you that nice glowing feeling, but they're important to translate into action if we want a society that will benefit all of the community and that will help all our young people to achieve their full potential. I suppose in many ways what has been done with Peace 3 is a bit of a beacon of light, both here in our own county and in the cross-border area, but also for the whole country, to show what can be achieved. And that's why it's important to acknowledge and congratulate the contribution that each and every person and each and every organisation has made towards that. Because we couldn't be where we are now if that effort wasn't put in. And at times, that can have its own difficulties and its own issues with commitment, but it's important that people make that effort and they understand and realise what can flow from it. I would say that Peace 3 has exceeded its expectations, and I think has set a very high target for the coming years, and rightly so. We should acknowledge that success. And I know that I was looking at the website over the last few days, networkforpeace.org, and that for anybody at any time who wants to see exactly what is happening and the people that are involved and what is going on in our community, if they just check the website, they will get all of that information. So for me, it's just a question of acknowledging that work and the contribution made, of thanking everybody involved, including the funders, because none of this would happen if we didn't have the appropriate funding, and of encouraging people to continue that into the future, and to know that the work that is being done will bear fruit. We already see some of that already, and we can transform our county into a very strong societal brick in our whole country, and we can do so by building on the success that has been achieved, and by ensuring that the resources that are made available to us are spent as wisely and as efficiently as possible. And I think that's something we can say with absolute certainty about what has happened so far. So thank you very much indeed, and I will hand back to Barry.